The video The Jack Doherty Files presents an extensive and deeply critical look at the online career and personal life of Jack Doherty, tracing his journey from an early viral sensation to a highly controversial figure facing accusations of exploitation, abuse, and reckless endangerment. The narrative aims to demonstrate that Doherty's consistent pursuit of attention, regardless of the ethical cost, has led to a pattern of malicious and destructive behavior, heavily enabled by the very people closest to him. Doherty's story begins in 2016 when he was just 12 years old. His career launched with a massive viral hit, a bottle-flipping video that amassed 30 million views. The video suggests that such a huge and sudden wave of fame was an unreasonable amount for a child, setting the stage for his inability to handle the spotlight in a healthy way. His content rapidly evolved from harmless challenges to light pranks, which involved showing up uninvited to the Faye's house. The core issue, according to the video, was not simply the prank itself, but the fact that his mother actively drove him to the private property, fully aware that the stunt was really strange. This early enabling by his parents is presented as the foundational reason for his later shameless and often degenerate behavior, as they continued to support his content career regardless of its trajectory. When the Faye's house residents refused to engage with his prank, Doherty quickly moved on to pursue the popular Paul brothers, primarily Jake Paul, who were at the time capitalizing on their own notoriety and public hatred. Doherty, following this blueprint, embraced the format of being an unlikable public nuisance, starting with minor acts of being obnoxious in stores until he was kicked out, and then graduating to serious acts of harassment, including falsely accusing innocent employees of assault. Despite the egregiousness of his actions, his parents allowed him to continue, and the financial rewards were immense. Doherty claimed he was making $40,000 a month at just 15 years old, allowing him to purchase a house. Rewarded for these escalating stunts, he doubled down on his actions, even getting arrested on purpose for content by pretending to be drunk and annoying police officers. While his parents expressed concern, the video asserts their primary motivation was to ensure the continued flow of ad revenue, even at the expense of his high school education, which eventually resulted in his expulsion. By the time he appeared on Dr. Phil, Doherty had fully committed to the persona of a professional rage baiter. He claimed he intended to stop his legally questionable antics once he turned 18, believing his youth was the only shield protecting him from jail time. However, as he matured and earned enough money to retire, the goal was no longer financial. The video explains that like many before him, Doherty became genuinely addicted to the attention, both online and in real life, enjoying the act of being a disturbance and getting on people's nerves. Even as his views dipped around his 18th birthday, he made no attempt to evolve his content. In 2023, around age 20, Doherty transitioned to the streaming platform Kick, focusing heavily on IRL in real-life streaming. Here he intensified his persona, acting as a public terrorist for sport. His new gimmick involved having an enormous security guard step in and confront people he had bothered, creating an unfair and annoying situation for anyone who reacted negatively to his stunts. The video distinguishes his actions from typical prank channels, noting that Doherty's conflicts were not set up but often very real, leading to a situation where his henchmen allegedly assaulted a man. When sued for this, Doherty infamously attempted to have his insurance company, State Farm, cover the costs, a move the video mockingly points out as illogical given the nature of the alleged crime. The narrative details Doherty's rapid descent, which included involving sexual themes in his content. He began promoting OnlyFans creators, featuring them in YouTube Shorts with links in the description. Disturbingly, his parents, particularly his mother, actively participated in these videos, making them 100% complicit in her son using her to promote adult content. This phase quickly became more sinister. In 2023, fellow creators Natalie Reynolds and Norway came forward with serious allegations. They claimed that Doherty had been grooming a 17-year-old girl, intending to use her to attract older, wealthy men. The claims asserted that he took 100% of her OnlyFans revenue, giving her a fixed monthly allowance, and waited months for her 18th birthday to get her drunk and pressure her into signing a contract on a yacht. While the video acknowledges that these were only allegations from people who were not formally suing him, and the alleged victim had not come forward to the police, the claims foreshadowed the pattern of exploitation that would dominate the later part of the video. The year 2024 saw no signs of improvement. Doherty's aggressive nature extended even to people in his own sphere, evidenced by a pathetic fight with streamer Neon, which was sparked by Doherty making suggestive comments about Neon's OnlyFans active girlfriend. Later that year, in a moment of extreme recklessness, Doherty streamed himself visibly texting on his phone while driving a high-end car on a foggy, wet road, culminating in a severe car crash. The video includes the terrifying audio of the crash and emphasizes that he easily could have killed himself, his cameraman, who was injured, or other drivers. Although he avoided significant legal repercussions, Kick banned him for endangering a life while driving on stream. This ban was publicly supported by his own brother, who stated that Jack needed to learn his lesson and realize he was not invincible, underscoring how many bridges Jack had burned. Desperate for a career revival, Doherty's attempts to collaborate with major streamers like Kai Cenat were instantly shut down, with Cenat publicly refusing to work with someone who had been doing nothing but bad things all year. The darkest chapter of the exposé centers on the claims made by his ex-girlfriend, McKinley, in a detailed interview she gave after their breakup. McKinley first entered Doherty's extended social circle and was immediately met by his lawyers who pressured her to join OnlyFans, which she initially refused due to her morals. This initial stage was followed by a horrific incident where a hometown friend of Doherty's allegedly sexually assaulted McKinley while she was asleep during a sleepover at the content house, an attack only halted by Doherty's intervention. This event, ironically, brought them closer. However, as the idea of a relationship began, Doherty engaged in sadistic pranks to make her jealous, including being deliberately caught in bed with other girls and confusing them for McKinley. McKinley claimed the relationship soon devolved into emotional and physical coercion. She noted that Doherty, relying on Adderall, alcohol, and weed, which she claimed he pressured his social circle to consume to keep up with his 36-hour streaming sessions, pushed her to the brink, causing her weight to drop to an extremely unhealthy 104 pounds. The definitive turning point was an ultimatum: start doing OnlyFans and officially become his partner or leave. She claims this was followed by a contract he pressured her to sign without consulting her parents or lawyers. Only after signing did he acknowledge her as his girlfriend, though he refused to formally ask her, claiming it would be gay. The abuse escalated dramatically. In a stunt captured on video, Doherty flipped a golf cart directly onto McKinley, causing her to land on her neck, resulting in an injury so severe she couldn't walk properly for a week and had to go to the hospital. She claims she had to take an Uber to the hospital alone because Doherty wanted to go on a yacht with Antonio Brown and continue his stream. Upon her return, he offered her a golf cart as a gag gift. The emotional and financial manipulation continued. During an event called a takeover, an illegal street racing and drifting gathering, that Doherty attended for content, he left McKinley alone in the party van without security. A masked man sprinted at her and stole her wallet, leaving her in a state of complete and utter panic. Doherty and his team arrived but refused to stop streaming, telling her that her despair would make for great content, and that she would be happy about the clips later. Further illustrating his cruelty, on a separate occasion when McKinley was crying on camera, he had his cameraman zoom in on her chest to film a tear drop between her breasts, joking about it being a hole-in-one and a 2 for 2. Financial control was also a core issue. When McKinley decided to buy a car for herself to stop relying on him, Doherty mocked her, making misogynistic comments that women were destined to crash their cars. When she went to the dealership anyway, she discovered he had moved all the money in their shared account to his private account, which she couldn't access, a tactic to maintain his leverage. The relationship ended when the abuse turned physical again. Following an argument in a hotel room, McKinley claims Doherty got very angry and physically escalated, calling her a fucking stupid fucking whore. When she said she was done and got up to leave, he allegedly grabbed her by the arms and forced her onto his lap to keep her from leaving, causing her to scream so loudly that hotel security intervened due to neighbor complaints. Following this, he spammed her with texts, apologizing but also asking for things like his betting slip. Although she returned under the condition the situation would never repeat, she claims the cycle continued. When she failed to wake up at a specific time he demanded, he allegedly pushed her as hard as he could into a wall, causing a bruise on her arm. This was the final straw, especially since she noted Doherty had guns in the house and would often joke about using them to kill her and himself. McKinley fled to a friend's house. Doherty's reaction was immediate and extreme. He went live, making threats to destroy her car, Maybach, and the hundreds of thousands of dollars she allegedly had in his closet with dynamite, saying she lost his trust completely. He then attempted to cut off her career, changing her OnlyFans passwords and emails to force her to talk to him. When she managed to change them back, he immediately switched to rage, calling her a crazy-ass fake bitch, and a liar who was using him for money. He subsequently threatened to destroy her car and her life, though he later returned to begging her to call him, even threatening to harm himself. After she fully broke contact, he sent a legal letter to her friend in refuge, Camila, threatening to sue her for $500,000 for stealing McKinley as a client, a suit that was later dropped. The video concludes by summarizing that despite everything, Doherty remained largely unrepentant, using the breakup to gain more attention. He soon began associating with notorious figures like Wes Watson and the Island Boys, a move that quickly led to trouble. Within weeks of being in Miami with this new circle, Doherty was arrested in November 2025. He was apprehended outside a smoke shop for blocking traffic and being a public nuisance. When police told him to move, he told them to wait while he finished a gambling session, which led to his arrest for resisting and possession of Adderall and weed. He paid his own bond and was immediately released, turning the entire event into more content and making light of a situation that could technically carry a prison sentence of up to 7 years. The video ends with a bleak prediction that if Doherty continues down this path of seeking negative attention at all costs, it is only a matter of time before he follows the route of other disruptive streamers who have faced severe, life-altering consequences.